Thank you, Gina. My name is Shelly and I'm the Public Relations Manager here at MKSGN. So the need for PR. So Parker Brothers brand has been experiencing some financial troubles, partly due to increased competition. Therefore, throughout Beer Buckets, we've created some PR tactics and objectives to kind of reinvest brand interest. So to outline those more specifically, we have 3 goals that we are trying to obtain throughout this campaign and a few PR objectives. So first, our main goals. The first goal is that we want to create a PR campaign that gains nationwide attention. Our second goal is to redirect consumer interest in the Parker Brothers brand after increased competition. And lastly, we just overall want to increase Parker Brothers' image. So some objectives for this PR campaign. First, we want to get 10,000 likes and followers on our Beer Bucket social media pages. These include Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, we want 500 participants in the Instagram Spring Break photo contest. In addition, we want 15,000 website views within the first month of our campaign. We also want 5,000 attendees at our Spring Break Panama City event. And lastly, we want 10,000 contest submissions. So a few PR messages we also want to get through this campaign. First, we want to get across that Beer Buckets is a fun, engaging game for those 21 and up. Our second PR message is that Beer Buckets can be played at home between just 2 people or at a party with teams. Lastly, we want the Parker Brothers brand to remain relevant and continue to be a top innovator in the game industry. Alright, so our first tactic is going to be social media throughout Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So first, we're going to use Twitter for more of our real-time news. We're going to use this channel to increase the Parker Brothers image throughout doing a few things. We're going to do some short posts to raise awareness as well as encourage our consumers' engagement. And also, we want announcements of any events that may be related to the game Beer Buckets, any spring break events, or any beer events, anything. And then we also want to do 2 to 3 posts per day on this just because it is such a constant feed. And then for Instagram, this is kind of a space where we can really have our consumers talk, give a voice to them. We want to encourage them to use the Beer Buckets hashtag #SBBeerBuckets at our Panama City event. And we also kind of want to incorporate an Instagram photo contest. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask people at Panama City event, like, hey, take a picture while you're playing Beer Buckets and post it. The person that gets the most likes will win a free Beer Buckets game as well as $500. And this also just gives the consumer a chance to have their voice heard and be incorporated within the brand. And then lastly, we have Facebook. And Facebook is really where we want to start to establish our brand as Beer Buckets and also as Parker Brothers. So this is the place where we'll give information about the Parker Brother brand as well as Beer Buckets. We're going to connect and start conversations with our consumers. And since this is a slower social media phase, we're going to kind of aim for 1 post a day. Okay, so tactic 2 is the Panama City Spring Break event that I was talking about, and I also think Gina touched on in our presentation before. So really, who is this going to engage? Like I said, emerging adults 21 and over that are going to be at spring break at Panama City, Florida. We all know Panama City is the main place that we can really grab our target audience. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a booth where people can play Beer Buckets, and what we're hoping to do is that it will generate major publicity for the game, and we're having people play the game and that they go by after the game's over because they enjoyed it so much during playing at the spring break event. Okay, so our third tactic is a bachelorette and bachelor party contest. So this is a contest to promote our bachelor and bachelorette themed Beer Buckets. As Melina pointed out in the marketing presentation, that we do want to do different themes for Beer Buckets. Therefore, this would really be promoting this specific one. So the winners will have a complete bachelor or bachelorette party thrown for them for free by Parker Brothers. And basically what they have to do is consumers will send in a picture of the bride and groom and their wedding party playing Beer Buckets. In addition, participants will explain with the picture why they love playing and why they want a whole party thrown by Beer Buckets and Parker Brothers. So yeah, we're going to pick 3 winners, and the consumers, in order to be a winner, they have to submit it to our new website we're going to create for Beer Buckets. This will drive people to our new website. It will be launched in the winter, the contest, and it will run all the way through spring. And then also, just by doing this, it's just going to spread overall awareness and get people engaged. So our last and fourth tactic is Beer Bucket's website. So what we're going to do, it's a main channel to provide information about our game. I believe that Gina touched on the outline of how this is going to look, but more specifically, these are going to be the aspects that are going to be involved in the website. We're going to have an About section, the Parker Brothers history, Beer Bucket's creation and rules. We're going to have an Events section, which is going to outline our Panama City event. It's going to talk about the deals, hotels, registration for the event, etc. And then we're going to have a Contact section. For those, we're going to provide email addresses and phone numbers for those who created the Beer Buckets game. That way, if anyone has questions about how to play and stuff, they can contact them directly. And lastly, we're going to have a contest section. This is where people will submit the photos and descriptions that they took for their picture, and also it's going to explain the rules more in depth. Alright, so evaluation. A PR campaign is not complete unless we know it worked, so we need to do the evaluation really in depth. So first we're going to count likes, shares, retweets, and favorites on our social media accounts. We're also going to look at website views. This will really show how many people were engaging and looking at these different kind of outlets and channels. Did they work? And kind of evaluate what we should do for the future. Also, we're going to count the number of people who attended our spring break event. That way it's going to say, was this the right location? Did we generate enough target audience, the correct audience? So we can kind of just evaluate how many people showed up, how many people were engaged, kind of get their insight even at the event of what they think of it. And then we're also going to count the number of Instagram photos. So that's almost the same thing, where people really engaged in what we had to say, were they enjoying the game, etc. We can count the number of likes they got and just see the comments. And then we're also going to do before and after surveys just regarding the Parker Brothers brand. So what we can do from our select audience is choose a few people to take a survey before the actual campaign launches. Ask them, what do you think of the Parker Brothers now? They may say, yeah, I've played Monopoly before. Or yeah, they've created some games in the past. Whatever their insights are, we're going to see what they are compared after the campaign. See if they think they're more relevant, if they enjoyed beer buckets, etc. And really see if there was a change of attitude. And lastly, we're just going to, by doing all of these, we're going to see if our social media channels worked, if our website worked, if our event worked, and kind of just see, did we really gain nationwide attention? Did beer buckets recapture the whole Parker Brothers band and make people interested? Alright, so that is our presentation. Thank you, Parker Brothers Executive Board, for listening to all of us today from here at MKS Gym.